Okay, so this is an analysis of a prelim film for Evaluation Activity 7 Part 1. We focused on camera shots and editing mainly. Now what you can see here, the first thing you notice is the big title coming up. This sets a scene and jumps out of a viewer. Now straight away, a match on action shot's used. This is when it focuses on the protagonist or just a character in general, and informs the reader who to follow. As you can see, it's following me there. Now, this is for editing purposes. We thought we'd use some slow motion. As you can see, we used Movie Maker, a good technological tool to use, and it worked well. We used it in the main film as well. You see, the seamless transition there works perfectly. Now, as you can see, hands are in the pockets, and continuity editing is done well here. You can see hands still in the pockets, walking from the same place as before. As you can see, the camera is a little bit wobbly. If we could have improved anything in the final film, it would have been to maybe use a tripod or something, keeping more still in more shots. Now that's a mid shot. A lot of it's mid shots. This is a commonly used shot. Two shot relationship between two people. Now I'm going to have to explain the 180 degree rule here. Basically, it must always be on the same side of each person. Here, because it's a shot reverse shot, it goes from one person on one side of the room to the other person facing them. It must always be on the right side or left side, and then left side. Here you can see it's on the right side of him and the right side of him. Always has to follow the rule. The use of speech was just simple script. Obviously we didn't use it in the actual film because we're not professional screenplay writers. If there's anything we could have improved on in that bit, prelim film, it would be to use more high angle shots and low angle shots. For example, having one to show perhaps one of the characters in the last bit as more powerful, more dominant. This could have been done well, and in the last film we did it with the killer and the protagonist in the first scene. Okay, so this is an analysis of the narrow edge final cut for the second part of Evaluation Activity 7. Now the film opens to a close-up of the first protagonist's face. This shows his emotion and clearly his fear, and it makes you think, why is he in fear? It creates questions for the viewer to ask. Now here's the first company we created, made a Twitter profile for, Dark Horse Productions. Now that's a establishing shot, establishes the area, a woodland park kind of area. He's limping. Now people ask the question, why is he limping? We kind of concluded that possibly it's because the killer actually injured him before and he just narrowly escaped, and this is just the scene afterwards. Setting wise. Okay, so the names come up in the corner of the screen. We haven't shown the killer yet, not shown his face. We want to leave that as a question till the end. All the names come from the corner, create space for the scene. Used in many films, Reservoir Dogs used opening credits over the film. As you can see in this shot, I don't know if you noticed here, there's birds in the background. This is very coincidental, but it worked well. And like I said in the first part of the evaluation activity, we wanted to do more low shots, low angle shots, and high angle shots. Here's a low angle one. It's looking up at the killer. It shows him as being more dominant and more powerful, especially after he just killed the protagonist, who the audience would suspect would survive the rest of the film, and not just the introduction. I'm going to stop a second. The use of music within the film, the classical music, as you can see, the film draws very close to the horror genre, but the thriller music kind of takes it away from that area. I mean, horror films obviously with The Mask, The Killer, for example Friday the 13th, but those films tend to use sound effects, dark, eerie music. The orchestral music for the opera definitely takes away from that edge. And now the coin, that's the first time you see the coin. We weren't sure why we would use it at first. Let's take it back there. We used it because it's the introduction to a film, we wanted to open questions up. Now the audience at this point should be asking, why did he drop a coin? Why has he left the coin on the victim? And I was thinking, in media, in most films, the killer tends to leave an object. So if you've seen the TV show Dexter, but he collects blood slides, he leaves something. Or in an episode of the TV show Bones, they left something at the scene of the crime. Usually a message. Now here, looking at a picture, establishes a relationship, and here, more flashback shots to do this. It's a 2 shot, shows a relationship between the 2 characters clearly, shows they're good friends, smiling together to show contrast, and now everyone is sad. Use of continuity editing there, he opens the door and closes it behind him. Picture now on the table. See the hair's scruffy, shirt's worn. Now this is a shot reverse shot. From going from one character's eyes to the other. Also, it's an extreme close-up shot of both eyes. Now, by focusing on in on the eyes, it highlights the fear, the emotion in their eyes. Now, clearly there's fear there. You can notice that. In the other character, which is ironic, is that the fact he has a mask on. So he masks his emotions, his fear, possibly even smugness. Now, it's a very dark shot, so the camera was blurred. But the use of candles was effective. Now, for this purpose, over-the-shoulder shot was used. We weren't entirely sure what to do there. We used subtitles because some people couldn't read it. The use of the gun at this point, iconography, the gun, commonly used in thriller films, loads. Reservoir Dogs, for example, Steve Buscemi's character, he's on the ground. And the shadow there, actually, let me take you back there, the shadow. In this shot, this is also a 2 shot, which I was talking about earlier, usually establishes a relationship. It's in this, obviously, it's a completely different context of the previous flashback shots. Now, the shadow of the gun was a key factor in this. I remember shadows are a key part of iconography in thriller films and follow the conventions closely. As you can see there, it expresses the fear. Shadows usually imply danger and fear. People don't want to be near shadows, and this is what we've done there. And the gun goes to his head. The audience should be asking, here, why has he shot himself? Now, this we haven't said for certain, but our original idea is he's so sad he can't handle going on any further. Another question is there bigger organisational work behind the killer? Is there a reason he killed himself instead of facing him? I mean, he could have easily shot himself, but he decided to take his own life. Reason for this, we're not going to say, should be found out in the rest of the film. For this is only the introduction. There's a shot of him grinning there. Obviously it's a mask, but there you go. And the coin once again with a fade out to the title. Editing, we use many fade outs, cross cuts throughout. It just showed the transition smoothly instead of just flashing between each shot. Also, you may have noticed the filter, if I take it back to the beginning there, it's noir, black and white, show the past setting, and the flashbacks are kind of sepia filter. This just shows old fashioned again, but we don't want to get too close to the original first shot. And then obviously colour in these few shots. And that's it for evaluation activity 7.